Well, welcome to another edition of the Hamden Football Netball League Senior Footy Show. That's right, the online footy show. We are back for another week, and so's the 40-year-old sitting beside me. You're feeling older, Hilly, or what? What's going on, mate?
Oh, not really. Just feel normal, mate, to be honest with you. I went to the gym this morning, obviously, with your great self at Rooster Row at 24/7. I'm feeling younger.
Mate, I'm telling
feeling
you.
younger going there. I feel like I was 25 there this morning.
We are getting fitter and fitter in that altitude room. No joke. Good turnout this morning too. I think it's probably the biggest numbers we've had, which was sensational. And the key is that we are feeling fitter and healthier. So that's the key messaging. And one of our guests that we're going to get to shortly, he actually joins us on a Friday morning when he gets the alarm clock right. Hilly, he's missed a few. Don't worry about that. And he's a good man too. And I'm speaking of Dan O'Keefe, the coach of the Warrnambool Blues. We're going to talk to Nick Ansell too, because this weekend is Foster Care Awareness Weekend.
Yeah, cool.
Great initiative by Brophy, Nicky Ansell and the Hamden Football Netball League to actually just raise awareness, try and get some new people involved in foster care. And it's something that, I think we can all do a little bit with and get involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that some of the footy clubs have been involved with it this week as well, sort of seeing some media already with the Roosters in Camperdown and so forth. So it's terrific. So looking forward to speaking to Nick, obviously, on another hat he wears, because he's also the general manager of the Warrnambool District Cricket Association. So in the off season at the moment, the great man.
Oh mate, and what about that Ashes victory by the Aussies too in game
terrific.
1? That was magnificent, wasn't it? Sensational. Ascot races, it's all going on at the moment.
We're in the wrong place, mate.
Oh mate, absolutely. Hey, listen, big round of football coming up, round 11. The Hamden Football Netball League this weekend. Our match of the day is North Warrnambool Eagles taking on Terang Mortlake. I'm looking forward to seeing Nick Rodder for the very first time too, the big man up forward. They do lose Adam Mines too. That was big news during the week. He goes for 4 weeks, so that's a total of 7 for 2023 for Winesy. So they'll be disappointed with that. It's a big game. Alex Maloney, he goes overseas now for a period of time.
I think Jared Hayes going to be out for a little while as well. He had that hard hit early in the game as well. So, that was a pretty solid hit on Hazy. So I reckon he'll miss a few weeks too. So, both sides are going to be carrying a few unavailabilities, but I think it's going to be a great test of their depth.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. And the other game that we possibly could have done this weekend, it's going to be a beauty. Fair bit at stake in this contest too is Port Fairy taking on the Warrnambool Blues. It's going to be a ripping game too, because effectively a final spot or a top 5 spot could be on the line with the winner. So we're going to go to the coach of the Warrnambool Blues, who's looking nice and relaxed tonight too. And I speak of Daniel O'Keefe, aka Doc. How are you, big fella?
I'm very relaxed now because I've just palmed off the kids after having them all day. So it's going really well. Thanks. How are you boys?
Mate, fantastic. And I have to ask you, Doc, we've played 10 games going into round 11 this weekend, but 10 games in, mate. How are you enjoying life? Coming straight out of the AFL system, back to your old hometown, back to your old footy club. How's life going for Dan O'Keefe?
We made the decision to come back based on a lot of different reasons, and the primary reason being family. And we made that knowing that it's going to be a great decision for us. But to be honest, big fellow, I think it's going better than what we envisaged it to be in the first place. We just love it back here, and we've got all our family around us. We've got old friends. We've made a lot of new friends through the footy club. It's a great place to live, albeit it's been the coldest couple of days of the year, the last couple of days. But it's going really well, and we absolutely love it. And it's great to be back at the footy club that I grew up at and I adore, and a lot of the same people there, but a lot of new faces there too, which has been great to connect with those guys.
Hey Doc, obviously from the AFL system back to the Hampton League system, coaching still coaching, but have you seen, is there much of a change in what you're doing this year in comparison to what you've done previous years?
Oh, there's different challenges, Hilly. Like, you probably got to do more, I think, like around the place, because in the past where there's got a lot of full-time employees that are doing things for you, I had to just rock up on game day and coach. So, I'm filling up drink bottles and pumping up the footies at the last minute at footy training and things like that. But that's all part of community footy and part of that I love as well. So there's some good challenges, like even like the one thing that I probably wasn't ready for was and I love this about community footy, but going in after the rooms after a game and so many people that are the followers of your footy club they all share their thoughts and their opinions, and they all praise you as well when things are going really well, and that's something that I probably hadn't had to deal with in the past. If we played a bad game in the VFL, then Vossi and Brad Lloyd and these guys will it's just part of it, and they'll be like, well, Doc will do the review, he'll look after it and whatnot, and nothing's really said. Whereas, here it's like, you walk in the club rooms after a good win and you get 50 pats on the back, and it's just like, whoa, like this is great. But then it's the other way as well, that I share the thoughts as if you don't get the win as well. But it's just passion, and it's great. Like that's new, and I didn't sort of foresee that being part of it, but it's a great thing.
Mate, imagine what it's like when you call the game, big fella, and that's why we don't get in there very often, mate. It's straight in that car, straight out of there. Hey, mate, you come in late, Doc, like as a coach, and it was obviously always going to be difficult then to try and entice some recruits. You've done a great job with the playing list. The numbers are fantastic right across the reserves, under 18, the halves as well. The club's up and about. There's some real excitement. From you now having 10 games to have a look at the club and a pre-season, what do you think you need to get to that next level, buddy?
A bit of time, to be honest. When I first got here, the playing list, apart from probably Paddy Anderson and Matt Holt, they were both 3-pointers. The rest of the whole list was 1-point players. So obviously Paddy left, and Holty's now a 2-pointer. So all of a sudden we've got this whole list of literally homegrown players. So which is a great thing in many ways. Absolutely it is. But then there's also room to improve with recruits, and we did that a little bit this year. We got early in the year we got Reece Jansen Van Beek, who's proved to be like we've had a couple of ruckmen go down, and he's going really well for us. And Will Lord's been super on the wing for us, the way he covers the ground. So we got a couple early, which was really handy for us. And then the 4 boys that have come from NT Football League as well, they added to us late in the piece as well. So to be honest, this year, speaking really honestly, it was about making the place a better place to be at, and creating that family orientation around the club, and making sure that everyone really feels part of the navy blue. And I feel like we've made some really good inroads just on that, and there's no doubt performance will come with that in time. We've had some great performances this year. And we've had some performances that probably haven't been at the level we want it to be, but we've literally have changed the whole game plan, and they're playing a whole new way. So not only is the learning fantastic for the playing group, but it just tells us that there's so much growth to come for the rest of this year, but also in the next couple of years as we roll through. And then ideally, in an ideal world, we hold majority of our list moving forward, and we can really just top up with some A graders moving into next season, which I'm looking forward to as well.
You've blooded some nice kids as well. I reckon Sam Carter got his first game on the weekend, Doc, and I love that you're giving some kids some opportunities, but also, they're not just throwing them the opportunity, they've actually, earned the opportunity to play some senior footy, which is terrific.
Yeah, we have made all our debutants and players playing their first game this year earn it. And it's a bloody credit to, we've got a couple of fantastic coaches through the club. So Matt Madison and Lee Moncrief do an amazing job with the reserves, who have only lost 1 game this year and are sitting equal on top. And then Damien Sale doing an incredible job. I'm pretty sure the under-18s are on top of the ladder as well. So only losing 1 game too. So Jaden Wells come in for his first game against Camperdown and was best on. Sam Carter could have been the best on the weekend. He played a great game in the wet. Eamon Radley he's only a 17-year-old as well. Actually, I think he's 16. He's unfortunately he broke his arm, but he was going as good as any. And Reggie Mars as well, when he doesn't have his coach league commitments, he was fantastic for us on the weekend, and could have easily been their best players as well. But he's had a couple of best on ground performances this year too. So the players that we've got and the depth in numbers that we've got is really exciting, and that'll hold us, really strong in the next couple of years as well if they all hang around, which we hope they do. So, but the coaches is a lot goes down to those coaches, and because both under 18, the halves and reserves, they're performing really well, and we're lucky that we can pick from them.
Mate, big game coming up this weekend against the Port Fairy Seagulls. They're in good nick. They've won their last 3 on the trot, knocked off the Roosters last week. It's going to be a massive game for both clubs this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, huge game, and I think there's no such thing as an upset anymore in this comp, because every weekend there's just like teams are beating anyone, and I'll probably even Portland and Hamilton, they compete as good as any. So they're probably not performing historically like a bottom couple of teams perform. They're good sides. So, but yeah, from 8th beaten first last week, and we're 5th, and Port Fairy are 8th, but there's only 2 points splitting us. So it's incredible, the competition. It's so good for the fans, and so good for you boys calling the games as well. You got no issues choosing a good game of footy on the weekend because they're all nail-biters.
Hey, Doc, just looking at the last time you played the Seagulls, they had a really strong second half, and they were coming at you, but you guys, I thought, did enough in the first half, and especially in that early part of the third quarter. Have you gone back and look at the tape and sort of see how they set up and identified a few things? Mirkovic was huge that day, and obviously Sully's going to be one that you want to curtail his influence as well.
Probably won't go back to that previous game, Hilly, to be honest, because I think Port Fairy have evolved a fair bit. Since 9 games ago since we last played them. So, they were coming from a fair way back, and what Dusty's been able to do to get them up and going, there's no doubt that they compete every week, but they're starting to really get some reward too for their performances. So we probably won't go look back at that tape. I think, we've grown a lot since then, and clearly they've grown a hell of a lot too. So it's probably more just looking back on their previous couple of games and also making sure that we play to our strengths, and which I think we can do this weekend.
Hey Doc, I know you're the ultimate professional when it comes to game day and obviously the lead up and so forth. No doubt you would have put a hell of a lot of hours in when you were coaching Carlton. What sort of hours do you sort of looking at now as a Hampton League coach? I know it would have been a lot at the AFL level, but what about the Hampton League coach? How many sort of hours are you looking at with the lead up to a game during the week?
Yeah, it probably doesn't compare to what I was doing, to be honest, which is good because I get my Sundays back now. But it's a good question. And every game's a little bit different. If I talk about reviewing the game via vision, it's a little bit different just based on, if we played well enough, then you'd look a bit more at the opposition. If we didn't play well, why didn't we? So you look a bit more at us. So there's some different ways to approach a review, no doubt. But in terms of hours, it probably takes me maybe an hour and a half to a couple of hours to review our game, and I sort of code it from the first bounce to the last minute. And then, looking forward, it's generally on a Wednesday night, I'll have a look at the opposition as well from their last couple of games and go from there. But there's a fair bit of planning that goes into training. We just don't throw drills in for the sake of it. They're certainly pointed, and generally on a Thursday night they're directed at the game coming up on the weekend and certain things we want to achieve. On Saturday we practice that, and we might rehash a few game plan things as well, just generally, but it's very pointed with the planning. Yep.
Hey mate, just looking ahead too before we let you go, under 23 comp, heavily involved in this, mate. Yourself, Lee McCluskey, Chris McLaren, Nathan Vardy, and of course the big man Jonathan Brown. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Saturday week, it's going to be a sensational take on the BFL. You there, big fella? You got us?
Yeah.
We might have a few little technical issues, so we're going to say farewell to Dan O'Keefe. What a great man. And as I said, it's so wonderful to have a bloke of his calibre in our league. We've got some wonderful coaches, mate, right across the board, and he's one of the best.
He speaks so well. Like, he'd actually sit down for a day and just speak footy with him. He's so articulate and obviously well planned and well prepared and so forth. Yeah, terrific person, Doc. the boys are lucky.
And,
fell on their doorstep.
The whole
Unbelievable.
competition's lucky, to be honest. It's absolutely sensational. So we say a big thank you to Dan O'Keefe, who just had a few little technical issues in the back half of that interview, but great to talk to him as always. We're going to go to our next guest too, Nick Ansell, who's from Foster Care Brophy, of course, and this round is going to be known as Foster Care Awareness Round from the Hamden Football Netball League point of view. A great initiative, something a little bit different. Nick's been kind enough to join us. Nick, how are you, buddy?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks, big fella. How are you boys?
Mate, we're going fantastic, and I love this. A great concept, a great idea, all about raising awareness, mate, and trying to get people, I suppose, just involved, because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 400 kids every day in need of foster care in our region, which is just phenomenal, mate, when you actually break that down.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Stewie. It's a pretty astronomical number, really, when you look at it that way. And that was really just the I guess what's behind the concept and the idea. Raising awareness, just putting it out there, because I think a lot of people look at foster care and they know what it is, but realistically, the pictures, the picture paints itself. Like, we need more carers. Plain and simple, that's what it is, to be able to help these kids stay connected to their schools, to their mates, their footy netball clubs, all the rest of it. So we're really grateful that the Hamden League's given us the opportunity, really, to be able to use it as a bit of a vehicle to raise awareness and drive it, because a lot of the clubs we know and we understand are the heartbeat of their communities in the Hamden League. So hopefully it's a great way to be able to just raise awareness of what we're facing, and how we can, I guess, improve that situation for a lot of kids in our region.
So what's in store for the weekend? Is it you guys have had discussion with clubs and they give information to club members at their Thursday night teas or Saturday after games, or what sort of the vehicle that they're sort of driving to push this awareness round, Nick?
Yeah, Hilly, that's pretty much it. So we'll be at the North Warrnambool Terrain Mortlake game. I think the game you guys are calling. So that should be an absolute cracker. We'll be there. We'll have a bit of a gazebo set up and be there to sort of have a chat and just talk to anyone that has any questions or wants to catch up or learn anything. We'll be there for that. We'll also have some printed materials with some QR codes, which will push people through to a website to find out any information that they sort of want to know. So that'll be at every Hamden League game. We would have loved to have been able to get around to every game of the round, but unfortunately resources haven't permitted that. So we'll focus our energies at the one and do our best. And that's where we've been getting around to clubs for their Thursday night teas and dinners and things. And look, we thought it to be important to get out there for 5 minutes and just have a chat. We don't want to take too much time, but just to make sure that all the clubs are included and all the communities are included and we don't miss anyone. We thought that was probably a good way over the space of a few weeks to get out and catch up with everyone that we need to. So it's going to be a big day. It should be a good day, but there's been a lot in the build-up as well and a lot of preparation. So it's we're looking forward to it, I think, just getting out there on the day.
And of course, the Hamden League, 10 teams, from the east to the west to the north. It's a big area, and if we can get some interest and we can get some spark and get some people involved, it's a win, and it's all about giving people information, and they can make their own choice, their own decision, and just feel good about themselves and get involved in something in some way, shape or form. I think would be a really good starting point. So I'm looking forward to it, mate. Well done to Brophy, well done to you guys, and well done to the Hamden Football Netball League for making this happen, buddy.
No, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we acknowledge, look, not everyone's in a position to become a foster carer, and that's absolutely fine. Like, that's just part of life. But there's absolutely other ways that you can get involved and be part of it. And if we understand that if somebody isn't in a position to become a carer or might not think that it's appropriate for them, they might have a mate or a cousin or a sister or whoever in their lives that may be in that position, and might be interested in doing it, but it's also about breaking down the barriers of, people might think, look, I'd like to do that at some point, or I'm interested to find out more, maybe, 1 or 2 years down the track. So how do I, just build those bridges of information? So that's really what it's about. It's really entry-level stuff, and just there to have a chat and catch up, really. So no, we're really looking forward to it.
Now, Nick, if someone's there watching this show tonight, tomorrow, the next day, whenever, how do they go about it? They go, right, this has sparked me up a little bit here. I've pinged the ears. I'm interested. How do they go about it? How do they go from here?
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. So they can visit our website, which is brophy.org.au, and it's pretty self-explanatory. They can just follow the prompts there, or they can just give us a buzz on 5561 8888. Someone in the foster care team would be more than happy to have a chat and run through what it entails. But really simple. All you got to do is be 21 years of age, have a spare room, be an Aussie citizen or permanent resident, and just complete your working with children's check or your police check, which a lot of people in footy clubs have to have done these days anyway. So that's really it. Simple as that. Pick up the phone, have a chat, no obligation or anything like that, and just find out if it's for you. So yeah.
Great stuff, Nick. We appreciate your time, mate. Foster Care Awareness Round 11 in the Hampton Football Netball League this weekend, and the guys are going to be out at North Warrnambool Eagles taking on Terang Mortlake, which is our Hampton League live match of the day. Nick, great stuff, mate. Great to talk to you, buddy.
Thanks for the opportunity, boys. Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff, doing wonderful things, and it's good. It's good that the league's getting involved with stuff.
I think it's good with these, these organisations can use, the Hampton League or any other sporting leagues as a vehicle to drive it as well and build those connections and so forth, because we know how big football and netball teams and so forth are. So to use these as a bit of a driving force, I like it.
Right, mate, let's recap last weekend's round of footy, our Hampton League live match of the day. Camperdown and Terang Mortlake, fun day for us in the Box Hilly, as it always is. But the Magpies, mate, they got out of the blocks really, really quick. And that's actually the Warrnambool Croydon game from a few weeks back. We're just going to have a look at the highlights from our game last weekend. But they got out of the blocks quick, didn't they?
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with Camperdown for the first half. I thought they moved the ball really well. It was tough conditions, so they were able to work well around the clearances and the stoppages and so forth, and were able to manufacture a few goals. It was low scoring. It was 4 goals apiece at half time, but the likes of Zach Sinnott and Cam Spence really shone and come to the fore, I should say. And this fella, it was a great battle, even though they didn't kick a lot of goals between them, Will Kane and Sam Gordon. Geez, they had a hand in a lot of good players. Yeah, absolutely they did, mate. Both good targets, and that's a cracking grab there by Angus Gordon too. He had a good day. Zach Sinnott, as you mentioned, that's a great goal. He was pretty happy with this one too. It really sparked up the Magpies. They kind of got out of the blocks. They come from everywhere. Riley Hutchins, this is a name to write down, mate. This kid is absolutely flying, and I reckon he's got to be in contention for Maskell medal. Yeah, well, he's high in our Pit Stop Menswear MVP. I think he might be sitting second or third on the ladder in that one as well. But he's had a great season to date. And on the Geelong VFL list, I just think next week Ballarat, could be a great occasion for him just to get his name in front of a few recruiters and footy clubs if they come down and view the game and that as well. There he is again. He kicked 4 goals. I think he had 26 touches and was enormous. This fella played well too. Kicked 4 goals throughout the afternoon and had a lot of hands in their
It didn't show the chase down there, Hilly. That was the chase down, the tackle, the pressure. And then he slotted that into a bit of a breeze from about 45 out with a wet, slippery agate. Yeah, he did. It was terrific. And this goal here by Louis Taylor was terrific as well. And after that, there was a little bit of afterplay where he got another kick. So it kind of changed the momentum. Well, it hurt the momentum of the Magpies because they were leading by, 1. He kicked it, so obviously the Bloods were leading by 1, and then they led by 7 at half time. And he kicked this goal. This was our Lucas Brothers snag of the day. A left foot snap, open goal square. He was enormous. Kicked 3 at 29, and he got the 1 vote in our Pit Stop Menswear MVP. Yeah, he's only going to get better, I reckon, too. Louis Taylor, him and Cam Spence went head to head with each other, of course, last weekend. And final quarter, the game was virtually was all over at this stage. Yeah, it got tough, the conditions, didn't it? It did. It got dark. The lights were on virtually for the last 3 quarters of the contest. Really tricky conditions. Here's the Kane train again, just putting on a bit of a clinic on the left that time. Pumps a fist, the big fella. He's up and about. Sammy Gordon again, the big flash. who had a great game and was a great focal point too, especially in tricky conditions for a big man. That was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, to be honest, it sets the Bloods up. Camperdown lost the last 3 now, Hilly. You know, they've got a few little concerns, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And I guess, you know, the next 3 weeks are really pivotal. And we spoke to Dan, obviously, about the closeness of the competition. Port Fairy sitting 8th, and they're 2 points behind the top 5. So you've really got to be on your mettle to win each week, and they can't afford to drop another couple over the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, big couple of weeks for Swaney and the Camperdown Magpies.
Righto, Hilly, round 11 action. Our Hammer League Live match of the day. North Warrnambool Eagles taking on Terang Mortlake. It is going to be an absolute belter. No Adam Wines, as we mentioned. They've still got the big Vardy. They've still got big Nick Rodder. They've still got a fairly good side. It's going to be a great team. No Alex Maloney, too, for Terang Mortlake on the flip side. So he's overseas for... Well,
extend a bit of time, I think. Yeah,
he might not even get back, Alex. Either I'm just hearing. I think it's kind of
it's going to be a bit of a dicey one.
Yeah. So it's going to be an absolute beauty.
Second versus third too. Like if
fair bit at stake.
Well, I guess for the North Warrnambool Eagles too. I'm looking at ladder positions. If they were able to sneak that one away, just still gives them a nice little buffer from those sides like Koroit, Warrnambool, and Cobden chasing. Because I think Koroit are really starting just to click into gear at the moment.
Yeah, just a bit of a logjam, isn't there, in that space. South Warrnambool taking on Camperdown. This is up at the Friendly Societies Park too. Good to see the rooms opened up there at
they look flash too. Yeah, great job.
Yeah, they've reversed the home rooms and the away rooms are totally different now, which is great. Roosters got a lot of injuries. I think they got another couple. Nicholson's out this week with a hamstring.
Yep.
And then just a little crack in the jaw too for Nico. So they've got a few concerns at the moment. Camperdown will be going there thinking, you know what, and they generally play pretty well at the friendlies too.
Yeah, they do. I still like South for some reason. I just think their depth is still quite strong. But geez, if Camperdown were ever to make a stand, it has to be this week and to get a scalp like the Roosters. But I think South, no doubt, would have been disappointed after last weekend. I still expect them to win, but. Yeah, geez, it's the closer in the competition, they're hard to tip.
Still the team to beat the Roosters for mine. Port Fairy Warrnambool, we just touched on that with Doc. It's an 8-point game for both those clubs. Loser kind of gets back in the rut, to be honest, and going to find it hard. Portland taking on Koroit over at Hanlon Park. They were good for 3 quarters against Koroit.
Yep.
First time they met this season, Hilly.
Yeah, they were, and they get a couple back too. They're going to be stronger than the last time they played. Obviously, Sharp, Malcolm playing. Wilson's in being super form. I think he's the full back of the year if we were doing team of the year calculations at the moment. So that's going to be an interesting game. I still expect. I love what Koroit are doing now. They're starting to get a few back. Won a couple of tight ones. I think they're building. I think they're building the Saints.
Hey, final game, Cobden taking on the Hamilton Kangaroos to the Bombers. They look good. Their best is really good, isn't it? It's an exciting kind of brand of footy. It's just whether they can sustain it.
Yeah, interesting one. I really think Hamilton are a big show here.
Well, they travelled. They beat Camperdown 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And last time around they were a little bit raw, but I think they're 9 rounds ago. I think they're going to be better for it. So yeah, I still think Cobden win, but I reckon Hamilton will give them a good old shake, which will be interesting. And just a little shout out too to Amelia Bell, son of the great Shane Bell. So brilliant. This weekend the Port Fairy Seagulls are going to be wearing a Indigenous jumper designed by Amelia, and it's got a great little story. So it's obviously the circle on the front of the jumper is like a gathering point, and then the back sort of is a picture and tells a bit of a tale about the coast and all that sort of stuff too. So a really good, meaningful jumper, and I really love the clubs. Yeah, it looks great. I love that clubs are getting behind and really celebrating the Indigenous culture around here because it's so strong, and I think we underestimate how big it is around Warrnambool and around the surrounding district.
I think we're going to get to a stage where we'll have a round down here.
Well, I think we should.
Which will be fantastic. They were pretty close last year, so hopefully, and fingers crossed, we can get to that point at some stage as well, which will be absolutely sensational. Round 11 action, that is what we're talking about. We must thank our sponsors too. Fresher Southwest TAFE, McDonald's Power Core, Sun Gold, 3YB Coast FM, Mickey D's, McDonald's, of course, Warrnambool Toyota.
Well, I'm just thinking about McDonald's. I've been thinking about McDonald's all week. It's been bloody cold in the morning. So remember how they had that deal with
the coffee?
The coffee.
Is that still going?
Well, I don't know, but I've been thinking about it every morning. Like, this morning when I got in the car, it was 5 degrees and it was 7 degrees yesterday.
Oh, mate, they'd be
So I'm thinking they might be chewing through a few coffee beans.
Hey, great sponsors too. And talking about coffee, Piccolo Coffee, of course, they're on board this year. They'll be the official finals coffee partner in the grand finals for the juniors, all that kind of stuff as well, which would be magnificent. What a racing club.
Yep.
Do a wonderful job as well. So plenty of great sponsors. Lucas Brothers Butchers, as we touched on. There's heaps of R&M Security, Natalie and the team. They'll be involved once again come finals time as well. Hilly, going to be a great round 11 action on the Handon Football Netball League this weekend. We will see you for our Handon League Live match of the day. It is North Warrnambool Eagles taking on Terang Mortlake. I'm looking forward to it. Mate, see you at the footy.
Absolutely.
And, looking forward to round 11, big fella. We hope you join us as well.